Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this yin class. Yin is meant to be a state of surrender, a state of passivity, where you get really relaxed or we steep for a while in some poses that provide a deep stretch to open up the connective tissues. And I'm waking up early morning to record this for you. And I have had a lot of extra work on my plate this week. Just this past week, with it being the holidays, I have covered 6 classes beyond my own. So I'm feeling a little sore in my body, and I'm feeling a little tired mentally as far as keeping the creative juices going. And I thought for today, instead of creating a big theme, I would take the pressure off. And that is actually going to be the theme. 2021 has been a year of moving forward and moving back, moving forward and moving back. I'm sure you have felt this energy. And it could be, things that are happening personally or professionally, nationally, globally. We've seen this pattern. And it was interesting because, last year in 2020, when we had so much time at home, I really enjoyed preparing for just Thanksgiving and having the big meal and putting Christmas lights up immediately after Thanksgiving so we could have the lights decorating the house. And this year in 2021, I decided to take all the pressure off. So for Thanksgiving, I decided I just wanted to stay home and stay in my pajamas since we didn't have the kids this year. And that's what we did. And it was pretty amazing to just take all the pressure off, not have to have a certain meal prepared, not to have a certain type of gathering or have to be anywhere at any time. And the same thing happened at Christmas. We were moving, into Christmas, and I didn't even think to get a tree right away. I only think we had our tree for 2 weeks. In fact, when we went to get the Christmas tree, we got a pretty heavy discount because there were only 2 left. And I didn't put out the same decorations. I didn't put the lights out in the front porch or in the yard. And again, it was nice to take the pressure off. I told Rob I didn't really want to be worried about creating a big meal for Christmas. So we made something very simple for Christmas. And that's the way I'm feeling right now because I'm the type of teacher I like to have extra bringing into the class. And right now, it's not that I don't have anything because I could sit and meditate and I would get a download. But really, honestly, this morning, I thought, I'm going to take the pressure off. And therein lies the theme. How much do we do day in and day out, week in and week out, month, and year after year of feeling obligated or feeling the pressure to look a certain way, to do a certain thing, to be a certain way? Take the pressure off. And I'll meet you on the mat. So we're going to start sitting and breathing. To find a comfortable seat, you may want to sit on a cushion. Letting your hands rest on your lap. And just moving within your body. Perhaps noticing any places that seem sore. Feel tired. Tight. And just know this practice is going to bring you some energization. At the same time, it'll help to give you a great sense of release. Notice whether or not you have put pressure on yourself or if you have felt pressure from others. Sometimes we actually feel physical pressure in our head. Set your intention to release the pressure valve. One way to do this is begin to engage with your breath, making the breath deep and wide. Now bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. Interlace the fingers. Extend the hands out in front of you. Let the shoulders melt down away from your ears. And then on your next in-breath, lift the arms skyward. Again, let the shoulders spill down. And just deepen the flow of your breath. When we extend the arms overhead, we help to extend the vertebrae. On your next exhalation, spill the right hand down. Let your left arm cross over the ear. Since I'm not mirroring you, if you went the other direction, that's okay. But I'm opening up my left side body. And typically in yin, I like to focus on the left side first and then move across to the right. The left side is considered the lunar panel or the feminine side of the body. And that's what yin correlates to. Now, even though I have that top arm in somewhat of a C curve, I'm going to let it relax even more. And I'm also going to do that with my head and my neck. You don't have to become this limp. But if you do, think about mimicking a wilting flower. Continue to open up that left lung. Let this replenish you. And then if that top shoulder starts to feel any fatigue whatsoever, you're going to spill the arm down. So it's just kind of hanging in front of your chest towards your lap. Soften your jaw. I've been feeling some pressure here this week just because I've been teaching so much, all that communication. So if you want to open your mouth and stretch out the face, widen the mouth, like you're attempting to pop your ears, sometimes that can help. If you slowly lift that left arm back up across the ear, we'll push away from the right hand and bring ourselves back upright. Open your palms. Close your eyes. Feel that side body. You may still feel the surge of energy or the disbursement of that circulation, or that tension being broken up. Let's bring this same effect to the other side. On your next in-breath, carry the right arm up, plop down to your left hand, taking the side bend. Maybe relaxing the top arm more, maybe draping the head down more. I'm doing this first thing in the morning, so it's pretty amazing how if you roll out of bed and then roll out your mat, how stiff the body feels. You may be doing this later in the day where the body's already pretty awake, already had some movement. Again, if that top shoulder starts to feel any type of fatigue, just let the arm hang. You're still getting a nice stretch here. So at the end, we approach the poses in a sloth-like manner. And think about how slow moving sloths are. I can't remember the name of the Disney movie, but there's a Disney movie that came out in the last number of years, and it had the DMV, and sloths were the people working at the DMV, and everything was so slow. You're slowly going to extend that right arm back over the ear. Lift it up high, press away from that left hand. Build yourself back up. Palms resting open. Eyes gently closed. All right, we're going to come off the bolster. Although if you need to sit on a folded blanket or bolster for this, you certainly can. We're going to do half butterfly. The left leg's going to extend. The right foot's going to nestle in close to the knee. We'll reach the arms up overhead. And then as we exhale, we're going to slowly spill down, resting the back of the hands beside the leg and bowing over. You may want to tilt your head gently to one shoulder, and then gently over to the other. And if you find a place or a pocket where your body wants to be still and hold and work through some of that embedded tension or pressure, be there. Now, if you're feeling like gravity is taking you
too far, resting on the back of the hands and bringing that looseness to the arms, you could turn your palms down, straighten your arms to provide a little bit of a shield. So gravity is not taking you beyond your edge. However, you may find that your body begins to adapt, your body starts to mold into it, and then you get that natural give. You can move into that next edge. Slowly begin to walk it up. And we're going to spin to the right. Ooh, got a good pump in my back. Left hand to the right knee, right hand behind your back. Now, even though we're doing a yin practice, we're still extending the spine before we take the twist, because in order to target the connective tissues in the spine, which in this case is the spongy disc, we want the elevation so that as we twist, we're bringing that lubrication in between each of the vertebrae. As you exhale, unwind, lift the right knee, extend the right leg, bend the left knee, fan open from the hip. Foot nestled close to the inside of the knee, arms radiate up. Exhale, pour down. May have more restriction on one side versus the other. This may be due to past injury. It may be due to habitual body mechanics. Maybe due to certain activities that maybe you have overdone. The way you slept, right? There's a number of things. I'm saying that because I'm feeling it on this side, almost in an extreme way different than the previous side. In these forward folds, you are welcome to extend out your exhalations to a longer count. Since you're doing this from home, feel free and at liberty to use any cleansing breaths at any time. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. To me, those type of cleansing breaths are a great way to release the pressure or to open up the pressure valve. Inhale, slowly start to back your way out. Make sure your spine's elongated before you twirl to the left. Exhale, unwind. Lift the left knee, extend the left leg. This time we're reaching both arms overhead. Exhale, pour down into caterpillar. Caterpillar, we are rounding the back if it's healthy. If you need Paschimottanasana, which is active and straighter approach, you can do that. Otherwise, let's just drape. Let the head be heavy. Opening up the ligaments alongside the vertebrae. Opening that connective tissue that rolls from the neck down to the shoulder blades. Opening the fascia that overlays the hamstrings. Well, I meant to tell you guys to have a strap, but you can use a strap, you can use a belt. Not for this pose, but for the next one we're going to be doing. Try to let your breath be as smooth as silk, whether you're breathing through the nose or mouth or a blend. And slowly lift the head and chest. Now this is where you may want that strap or belt, which I don't have one available right now. But if you take it around your foot, I'm just gonna hand hold the left foot and pick it up, and you're gonna cross it over. So if you're holding that strap or scarf or something like that, the leg crosses over, so you're opening up that IT band, and then you're gonna spin to your left into a twist. We're not holding this one as long, so gently come back out. But you're going to bend the knee, and you can have one hand hold to the foot, one to the knee, or cradle hold it. And we're squeezing the leg in. Cradle the leg pose. And you can even rock the baby. This is rock the baby pose. So that it can still cradle the leg. Adding in some movement, rock the baby. All right, we're gonna lower the ankle to the thigh bone, slide the right foot back, and you're stacking on your hands, lifting up through your heart. This may be plenty. If you think you can handle more, you're scooting closer to that foot, driving the hands closer to your back, getting a deep stretch for this left hip. Walk the right foot over, let the shins stack, and you may not need to do anything else here. If this knee is up and you're rounding your back or anything hurts, You're going to cross that foot over to the other side. Otherwise, we're moving into fire log pose. So you can lift up, you can fold forward. I usually go deeper than this, but it's so early in the day. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I want to, really. So even if you're doing this later in the day, even if you can go farther, then just remember, take the pressure off. Sometimes it is nice to back off and approach it in a different way. Less goal oriented, letting go of expectations of being where you think you should be or where you typically are. What's helping me right now is just opening the mouth to loosen the jaw. That's where you're holding tension. Take the pressure off and just let the mouth be a little agape. Moving into the hippie twist, the left arm can be resting in the arch of the foot. You're lifting your heart up to sweep the right arm back. You also have an option to dip the elbow here, place the palms together, and to dial the heart towards the thumbs. I just realized my neck wasn't comfortable turning my head. You feel that irritation? Take the pressure off. Chin in line with the chest is fine. And then let's unwind. Lean back into your hands. Extend both legs out. Come to the front part of the sits bones. Fly the arms up overhead. Exhale, moving back to caterpillar. Or Paschimottanasana if you need the active version. Ooh, I just noticed something. So when I came down, my arms were like way ahead. And when I slid the hands back, it allowed my shoulders to melt more. And then I just felt where that connective tissue was really wound up. And where it's really wound up is where you want to hold it, because that's what's going to take the pressure off. That's what's going to allow the tightness of those fibrous tissues to begin to expand and open and become more porous. You may find the same areas you're speaking up. You may find something has shown up that didn't before. Just take 3 more breaths, since this is our second time in this position. Remember, the next pose is the one, if you can't quite reach the foot, you can use a strap, a belt, a scarf, and wrap around the right foot at this point. If you can reach it, you can just lift it up as you come to sit. The leg's going to cross over the midline. You're going to rotate open to the right. Not holding this one as long. So unwind from the twist. Bring that knee in. Hand hold to the knee and foot, or cradle hold here for cradle the leg pose, where you're squeezing it in. And if you feel like rocking the baby, you can also implement that. You can do one or the other, or a blend of the two. And then we're going to slowly lower that ankle to the thigh bone. Lean the hands back, slide your left foot closer to you, and lift your chest. And again, this might be plenty. Each side's different. Just because you scooted forward on one doesn't mean you should the other. Take all that pressure off. If it feels available, of course, you can move into that space. This really is a great pose to prepare for fire log. Fire log, we'll just step that left foot over, and we're attempting to double stack the shins. Remember, if it's too funky or if it hurts, it's not worth it. Send the foot over to the other side. Check in here first. If that's still available and feels pretty good, you can move forward. Now, on the previous side, I kind of paused about to this point, but this side's much more open. So you could prop your arms on top of your lap. You can also spill down and round out here. Each exhalation, if you prefer a cleansing breath to open up that pressure valve, you can. It does help to give you a greater sense of release. Patiently waiting for the hips to unravel, to unfold. It may even be showing up in your low back. We'll take that hippie twist. So the right arm to the arch of the foot, left arm up and back. Or of course, you can come down lower with the hands to prayer, minimizing or maximizing what you're doing in your neck, dependent upon your experience right now. Exhale, unwind from that twist. When you're ready, lean back into your hands, slide the feet out, separate them wide, come into the hammock pose, and just flip flop the feet. Then we're actually going to come up to stand. So when you come up to stand, we're going to pour over into dangling pose. So go ahead and begin to bend the knees and allow yourself to fold. And go ahead and clasp a hold of your elbows, but back your arms up alongside your ears. That's not hiding or shielding your face. If you have noticed through your introspective work, whether you cater to one side or lean more to one side, correct it. Even though this is the end and there's not as many rules. My tendency is to lean a little bit more left. Yours may be opposite. Let that energy of vibration erupt in the back of the body. Allowing your feet to stay planted. This is the perfect type of pose to feel like you are opening up that pressure valve in your head, allowing all stress and worry to just rush out and away. Let's hold 3 more breaths. Let your arms release. Step back with your left foot. Pressurize the right foot and come up to crescent. Take your hands to your hips. And you're going to softly bend your back knee. Now we'll fly the left arm skyward. Maybe even hang back. you're ready, gently bring that arm down, step the left foot forward, and your feet are going to be a little wider than hip distance. We're going to stretch out the QL muscle. And the way I want you to do this is remember that side bend we did, and then we dropped the arm in front of the chest at the very beginning of practice. We're going to do something similar with that left arm here. So go ahead and kind of just lean your trunk over towards your right hip. The left arm is going to cross over in front of your upper body. And you're slowly going to hang like a rag doll over the right leg. And don't feel like you have to go very far. We don't have to necessarily hinge like we would in Uttanasana. You are hinging from the hip slightly, allowing that left arm to just hang and dangle, the head as well. We're going to hold it here a number of breaths. And then we're going to slide the right hand down the leg. We're going to pour over a bit more. Pause, hold, breathe. If you really need to suck in the belly to support the low back, you can. If you need to bend the knees, that's okay. And then slide down a little bit more, a few more inches. Pause, hold, breathe. And then if you want to take it down more to the next point, if that's available, you can. Continue to play with that. Or stay where you are. Let it go, 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 let it go. And let go some more. All right, now let's roll to center, heel toe those feet a little closer. Keep the knees bent, come back to dangling. Shifting your weight so it's pretty evenly distributed. Let your arms release. Let your right foot step back. Pressurize the left foot to come up to stand, hands to the hips. The back knee's gonna bend a little bit. Releasing that psoas. To take it a step more, feel free to lift the right arm. Feel free to arch back.
Yep. Hand to the hip, step up, feet separate a little wider, and we'll move that same, well, not the same, the opposite QL, but in that same positioning, except the opposite side. So the right shoulder is going to hang, the arm's going to release over the chest, the legs can be straight or bent. The head drips down. Belly can hug in. And you're ever so slowly, sloth-like manner. And you don't have to go any lower. But I'm holding for a few breaths and then inching down and holding a few breaths and then inching down. Like I felt a whole lot of sensation on the first side. I feel hardly anything on this side. You may be having a similar experience. You may not feel much at all with that QL. And remember, I know again it's more about connective tissues, not so much about muscles, but we have to remember that the fascia overlays the muscle and intermixes with the muscle. These type of stretches always open up trapped allergies for me, so that pressure release. Sometimes I don't even know it exists. I'm feeling it on this side. My nose is just wanting to pour. And I did not have that experience on the previous side. But just notice the little things that show up. Seeing how things are interrelated. Now, doing one thing with the body creates an effect on another area. And then eventually come back to center. Heel toe the feet more together. We're not going to hold dangling. We're going to plant the palm, step back, downward facing dog. Really lengthen up through your hips. Wide space for the sacrum and the belly. Again, another inversion to open up the pressure valve of the head. Let any abundant, restless thoughts flow away. Clear and calm your mind. As you exhale, gently release down to your knees. Separate your knees wide. Release down into tadpole. If you want to stay here for Shavasana today, be at liberty to do so. I'm going to come up and I'm going to take the yin form of the corpse pose, which is on the back, creating kind of a star or X shape with the body.
got the spine moving in all 6 directions. We didn't promote as many back bends today, except in that crescent lunge. But notice how this pose, if you're in it with me, helps to open the heart. How there's that little additional lift in the center of the chest. Some people, no matter how many hip openers you give them, want or crave more. So please know you can always come to recline butterfly here as well. Just stay with your breath. And you can minimize your control of it. And then observe it. Being one-pointed in your concentration, whether you're controlling or observing the breath or doing another technique, that not only provides mindfulness, but it can move you into a state of meditation, which allows us to steep in the state of yoga. If you need a longer Shavasana, pause the video. If you were in butterfly, lift the knees. If you were in tadpole, begin to come up to sit. If you had legs straight, bend the knees and then you can hug them in. We'll roll to one side. Come up to sit. Feel free to find that cushion or bolster to sit on again. hopefully you feel like you've taken the pressure off. You may want to reflect on where you can take another thing off your plate. You know, you don't have to feel obligated to celebrate New Year's. You don't have to feel obligated to go out, to force a celebration, to gather with anyone. You don't even have to force yourself to stay up till midnight. Okay, that's just a silly example, but seriously, whenever you're feeling too much pressure, figure out how you can release some of that pressure or how you can let some of that go. That is the lesson of the end. Bringing your hands to prayer. Thank you for joining me. I hope you got a lot out of this practice, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste.